Okay, there was a question on the forum about how to create this ring in version 6, and it really makes a great example. Of a great example of a lot of the new tools. Okay, so we'll just start by placing a ring rail. Okay, then using a curve tool, such as an interp curve, and turn on project. We're going to go ahead and draw this and kind of center it at the thickness you want for the ring. Okay, you can pass F4 there. And then we'll mirror this, and I'm going to go ahead and mirror it with Rhino history turned on. This will just give you a little lesson in history. Okay, mirror this around F4, holding down Shift. And now you can see this is the new and this is the original. So if that's not exactly the look that you wanted, once you get it mirrored, you can turn on its control points and kind of move them around. And as you do that, you'll see the other side of the curve change. Okay, so the mirrored one is changing. So if you didn't look at that, both of them, I'll just make it big. We'll do undo, undo, okay, and we'll do redo. And you can see them as they change. That needs sound effects or something. It's very cool. All right. Okay, so once you got that down about right, the design that you want, we'll go ahead and blend between the two and just create the nice rounded shape. And we'll join them up. Once you join them, all that history has gone away. Okay, and I'm going to turn that off because I'm going to go ahead and use matrix history for this, and I don't like the two to interfere. So the next step is curve from two views history. This uses matrix history. The curves are this one and this one, but we're going to go ahead first and choose full equals false, and that way it'll only create the top half of the ring. Okay, so this guy and this guy, and it automatically puts that up there for you. Now, the beauty of curve from two views history is that perhaps this curve came out a little differently than you'd expect. Okay, maybe you thought it'd be more narrow. Okay, but since the intersection between the two ends here, okay, where the first one ends, it came out a little wider than you expected. Now, instead of going back all the way, undo, 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 to step one and creating the curve again, we just get to edit the flat curve and see the change as a result in the non-planar one, or the one that wraps up around the ring. That's because we use this curve from two views history. Remember, this is referring to matrix history, so it doesn't use Rhino history. Okay, so we'll turn the control points on for this lower curve. Select some of them and go ahead and just 1D scale them in. Inward to change the shape. Okay, and the really neat thing about this, see how our curve got a little lumpy. We can even rebuild this curve and still get the results. So we'll go ahead and rebuild this now with fewer control points, so it's easier to work with. Preview the results, and we'll hit OK. And it also changed the curve on the top. And that way we can continue editing the control points, and it'll be a lot easier to do this because they're farther apart. There's fewer of them, so it's going to make for a more natural editing here. So just play with this. And I'm going to just go ahead and I'm scaling these from F4, pushing them inward or outward depending on the shape I want. F4, or scale 1D, F4, and just moving them around until I like the results. And I'm very picky, so I usually end up editing this way past the point when I should, but anyhow. You get the idea. Okay, once you like that shape up there at the top, and let's job bag this, we're going to put profiles on it. And that uses our profile placer, of course, and we can place this into the box. And it places any profile up there that we'd like. We'll go drag this down to the side of the ring. Okay, you want this to overlap center for this step. And create the height you want as well as the width, and if it's not overlapping center anymore, just go ahead and drag it over to center. Over center. Okay, F6 to get the handles back, and we're just going to go ahead and add another profile. And we can also change the scale of this one. Okay, and to actually see where we should add that for a minute here, I'm just going to go ahead and rotate and copy this, or mirror, it'll be the same thing because it's mirror imaged. And it's going to show us where the overlap is. Now notice I'm only doing that to the bottom one, okay, just to the flat ones. Give me a visual reference. So F6, MSR, and we're going to drag this back, and if you look in, oopsie, if you look in the looking down viewport, you can see when it's going to be at the correct location. And we can recenter this on the rail. That'll give us the best results. Okay, and just figure out whether you want this one to be the over or the under. We'll make this one the under, and we'll add another one. Place this guy over here at the same spot, and we'll raise up his height, and we'll make him the over. Okay, and we'll also F6, sorry about that, raise up his distance from the rail. So in the Y direction, we'll just raise him up and over his buddy. In fact, we could probably make him just a little shorter. F6 again. And this time let's F6 on the profile down here, MSR, and do an add, and place his little counterpart over here at the end of the rail. Okay, and make sure that they both overlap, and you're fine. Now let's go ahead and sweep this and see what we get. Sweep it with history, and you'll be able to do a lot of playing around with it to get the design just the way you want it. So sweep one with this guy and choose them in the correct order. Okay, and there's your surface. Now we might decide, hey, this is a little thin up here, and all we have to do is select the curve, F6, MSR, and make it wider. Do 3. Okay, same thing with this side, F6, MSR, widen this up to 3. 3.0. Okay. And just decide how you want it to look. Now if we have a kink here, let's throw away that surface and add another one. F6, MSR, and go ahead and add this guy right here. He can obviously come down and touch, and can be whatever height you want him. Oops. If you did what I did and you took him away instead of hitting add, don't know how I did that, but copy it in position, hit undo, and then paste it, and it'll go right back where it came from. Okay, we'll sweep one again because we added that profile. History doesn't work when you go back and change history. And now we've smoothed out that sort of kink that we had in the rail. And again, we can play with that shape too, but let's see first what this is going to do when we mirror it. So we can get rid of this guy since he's going to get mirrored again anyway. Select everything, and with matrix history on, rotate and copy. And from F4, just hold down Shift, rotate and copy. And now you can see you've got that nice overlapping over-under design. F6, MSR, and we can still toy with it here. Okay, and then just show you one last thing. Before we do that, let's actually turn on Rhino history, rotate and copy, F4, so we can compare the two. Now, all I have to do is edit the original side. Now, keep an eye on this one. That's its counterpart over there, right? So F6, MSR, enter. And they'll both grow. Okay? So if you turn on Rhino history and you want to use it with matrix history, just beware. It might do funky things, but it can also work in your favor as well. Enter. And they'll both grow. And then it just depends on the look you want for this ring. This one's usually a little bit funkier than I do. Ooh, make sure you change the original one. Okay, I was just about to change the new one, so make sure you change the original instead. Whoop, that's huge. Sorry. F6. Like I said, I usually end up undoing all my changes and really liking the original one better. Incidentally, you can also just click and drag these around. Matrix history still updates, or if you like to scale them the old way with the scale tools, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure you remember which side's the original side, especially for Rhino history, so you don't break the history in Rhino. Matrix history doesn't care. So we can scale this using the old-fashioned way. Okay. All right, the last trick I want to show you, Matrix 6, that really helps you out with this ring, lives right here at the side of the ring. See how these two profiles overlap? They should also be planar or existing on the same plane in space. And right here in the Tools menu is the Profile Merge tool. With both profiles selected, we just click Profile Merge, and it's really hard to tell, but it did something. And when you click down here, you'll see that a single new curve was created on the active layer. And that's just a really easy way, instead of having to trim, join, split, and all that stuff. I'll just show you that again over here. We select both profiles, run Profile Merge. Just says it did it, and we click, and there's one new curve. Okay, so now we can sweep on the bottom of this ring using our two new curves as the profiles. Make sure the seam points line up. Okay, and we've got a nice split shank design that's a single piece at the bottom and two separate pieces at the top. Now if you notice, this thing has a lot of intersections with itself. So I'm going to show you how to fix those if you need to grow this ring on a machine that can't handle intersecting solids. Let's turn off the bottom for a minute. And then on both sides, okay, we've got the intersecting sections here. Okay, once you've turned off that bottom part of the ring, because we're not going to use that for our purposes right now, we're just going to use the orange cutting layer and go to the surface menu and grab a plane. We're going to draw this plane through the entire ring. Okay, we're going to split both sides of the ring with this plane, and this will show you a few really helpful things, because if you notice, this intersects right up here, okay, which we're going to take care of second. It also intersects right down here, which is a little more tricky to take care of, and we're going to take care of that one first. So we're going to split this whole thing, both sides, with the plane. Okay, now I want you to notice as I select the surface that it didn't totally split. Okay, so we're going to split just this guy, split with the plane. Okay, and now it did. It ends at the plane. And check that for all sections, because sometimes they're a little quirky. Okay, see this one also didn't get split, so we split it with the plane. Okay, and that's where this intersecting solid thing has a real problem. Rhino has the same problem as we do, and we can fix them manually. It can only fix them in its head. So let's go ahead now and take all the good pieces, stick them on another layer color, and just turn them off for now, and just take a look at what it left us. This little piece of junk, okay, two pieces of junk, and this little two pieces of junk. Now we can turn this back on. Let's shade it up. We can turn off our orange cutter. We don't need him right now. And join together both sides. Join. Okay. Now, ultimately, we want to cap these. So let's look and see if they'll cap. It says unable to cap that object. Now I knew that was going to happen. That's because there's openings in this besides just this opening. And sometimes the tools we have to fix this won't fix it. But in this case, it will. And it's just a good little lesson for you to see how to fix open edges. Okay, so let's take a look first and look for the open edges. This is find the utilities command. Here's the check edges, and it's going to show us our naked edges. Now, of course, we have the one on the bottom. That's the one we were trying to fix with cap anyway. But here's another whole one, and you can see inside it. Just seems like when these crossed, it didn't like the results, and it kind of fought back. Remember how it didn't split? Okay, I had all these issues, but we can join them up. We have the join edge command that lives right here. I'm sorry, join edges, join two naked edges, select two unjoined edges, and just click here where you see them highlighted and hit yes, and it's just going to go ahead and kind of fix the edge for you. And we're going to, in fact, we're just going to delete the other one because remember that we mirrored and rotated these. Now notice I saved a copy that had history active, so this is the one I'm going to just use for production. I'm not going to use this in case I need to come back and edit it. I'm going to use this one instead. Okay, the beauty of job bags. Now this side should cap for us. Okay, created one end cap, and we can check and make sure that the item, we can check and make sure that the item really truly is closed. Okay, no naked edges are shown. 8 edges total, no naked edges. So we fixed it using the join edges command. Okay, so now we can take this guy, rotate and copy him, F4, shift, click. Okay, and we still have the intersection problem up here. Okay, so we still have intersecting solids we need to fix. And this we can easily fix with Boolean union. So we're just going to take both of them and run the Boolean union command, and that's going to take care of the intersecting solids for us. So we have a single piece, and if we could look inside here with our x-ray vision, we wouldn't see any intersecting solids. Okay, it's doing in Boolean union what we just did manually at the side here, which is splitting the pieces with each other and throwing away all the intervening stuff. Okay? Boolean union can only handle the easy instances of those. You and I have to do the tricky ones. Okay, now we're ready to join it to the bottom of the ring. So let's first extract both end caps. Extract surface. Okay, thank you, Mr. End Cap, but you are only for fun there. Doesn't always grab what you don't want it to grab. Okay, enter once you both got them both, and delete. Bring back the bottom of your ring and join it up. And now you have a single closed polysurface, and I'll tell you that in the command line. And you're good because you don't have any intersecting solids, so you can grow or mill this model. You can use it on any machine that doesn't like intersecting solids. You can mill it on any machine. Okay, if you have any questions about this one, you can go ahead and send me an email, give me a call. It's all good. Or if you have another example with certain dimensions or anything that you'd like us to try out for you, we can help. Thanks.